Every single day, from the moment you wake up, your life is a series of choices. From the simplest decisions on what to wear, what music to listen to, or what to eat, to more significant choices such as which school to attend, what career path to pursue, or if you should stay in that relationship or not. Your brain is constantly evaluating countless alternatives, and in today's modern society, the freedom to make choices for ourselves has never been greater. On top of that, internet, social media, and AI have greatly facilitated access to information. On the other hand, there is a price to pay. That is, we are constantly exposed to overflowing information, whether we like it or not. It might seem like having so many options is reassuring and convenient. Too much possibilities will actually short-circuit your brain. As humans, our decision-making process was designed by nature for specific survival purposes. But what about now? In a world where all of your basic needs can be fulfilled just by taking your phone out of your pocket, the question becomes, how can we adapt to fit this overwhelming environment? So first off, we'll understand how decision-making works and why it's not suited to our environment anymore. And after that, we'll uncover concrete solutions to improve this ability.
I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of change.
In this mind is the key.
You are always the purpose.
I was always certain that I wasn't going to stop.
The rest is just bonus.
From an evolutionary perspective, our brains have evolved to optimize decision-making for survival. The decision-making is like a feature implanted in your brain. You are designed to make choices, assessing risks, and evaluating the most profitable outcomes in terms of resources. Animals too make decisions based on the same system. What differentiates us is the greater complexity of our analysis and our capacity to consider more factors in. That served us well in the environments of our ancestors. Because at the time, the choices were relatively limited and the consequences were more immediate and significant. However, our current world is vastly different, and the pace of human progress has exceeded the natural evolution of our brains. Because nowadays you're not using your decision abilities for hunting or fishing to feed your family. You're just using them to decide what you're gonna watch on Netflix tonight. But how does it work? Your brain has a fascinating process for decision making. It combines analysis and intuition. To explain simply, your brain is working on a closed loop that is constantly receiving and processing stimuli from both the external environment and the internal environment. Moreover, it's working consciously and unconsciously with or without your approval. The analysis is the more deliberate and conscious part of the decision-making process. It involves carefully considering the pros and the cons, weighing different options, and thinking things through. It's like your brain's way of taking a step back and evaluating all the informations before making a choice. Your brain also operates under a more undisclosed way of analyzing. A side you don't have complete access to, that's intuition. Intuition is this feeling like you know something without being able to explain it, and to explain how you know it. You feel like an inner calling, an insight to pursue a specific thing or direction. If the algorithm is mysterious, it relies on implicit learning and conscious knowledge that has been accumulated, and finally linkage with emotions and past experiences. We cannot talk about decision-making process without bringing up emotions and memories. Emotions are like nature's guide, helping us learn and remember the right actions for different situations. They serve as signals for our brain to understand rapidly what is the situation and indicate us the behavior that was most useful in that type of situation in your past experiences. Our past experiences are like a reference library where emotions are processed and lessons are learned, reminding us of what has worked well in the past and what to avoid in the future. They provide a foundation for making decisions based on what we have encountered before. Emotions consist in the best personalized tools you have to navigate into your life. Now let's talk about the inadaptation of our decision-making process regarding the world that's around us. In fact, nowadays, the information overload is so uncountless. Your cognitive capacity can't keep up the pace. We are exposed to so much information from all around the world. Our brains are simply not designed to process this entirely. The paradox of choice, brought by Barry Schwartz, suggests that as the number of options increases, decision-making becomes more difficult and less satisfying. With an excessive number of choices, we may find it challenging to evaluate and compare each option effectively. This can lead to stress, decision paralysis, and anxiety, where we feel unable to make a choice. So I went to the drugstore the other day, right? Because I needed toothpaste. And I was standing in the aisle, and I was paralyzed in front of the shelves, looking at dozens of different toothpastes that all looked the same, and I was wondering, why is it so hard to choose between flavored mint or peppermint toothpaste? In fact, that choice may have been just a little bit harder than choosing my major in university. So there is no doubt that young generations face a unique challenge when it comes to decision making. Their environment being immensely stimulating, their brain is absorbed in a world of endless possibilities. The decision-making process is late to respond because it can't work as fast as the reality that surrounds us. When we keep delaying making a choice because the act of deciding feels too stressful, it results in procrastination and avoidance. And a great deal of anxiety, by the way. At the end of the day, our brains are more likely to avoid making decisions altogether or opt for the easiest, least demanding options. And that's why you find yourself on your couch watching Netflix and drinking sodas that you don't even like. By understanding the limitations of our brains, we can actually try to readapt the original conditions in order to facilitate the decision-making process. We'll see practical solutions and techniques to help rebalancing the process that has been altered by the society. First, let's just put out that most of the choices you make during the day are not crucial. While your brain has adapted to hunt praise and strategize against empires, you'll find yourself hesitating between buying peaches or bananas. The peaches, take bananas, that's better. The first thing you can do to help choosing is to ask yourself why. Before making a decision, ask yourself why you are making that choice in the first place, and consider if it's worth your time or not. This helps you prioritize and stay focused on what truly matters to you. That way, you'll avoid making choices that are irrelevant and wasting your energy while having zero impact on your life. Second thing is, limit the number of choices that you have to make. Save your mental energy for important decisions. Be aware that you have a mental quota for decisions in a day. By focusing on essential choices, you'll enhance the productivity you have and your overall well-being. Having a panic attack at Starbucks because you lost yourself in the process of deciding whether or not you are taking a coffee may just not be the best alternative. Once you've reduced the number of choices, you'll have to categorize and narrow down your choices to 2 or 3 possibilities at most. Avoid falling into the trap of thinking you can find the perfect choices out of the countless possibilities. Don't fall like me into the rabbit hole of thinking you can make the best purchase out of the 1,200 4,000 articles that this website has in stock. After that, you have to set deadlines. If you tend to avoid making decisions, you have to set a specific date for when the choice must be made. Stick to the deadline to avoid falling into a cycle of postponing decision. Adapt the timeline based on the nature of the decision. So at this point, You should have limited choices to make with limited possibilities and a deadline to respect. Here and only here is the decision-making process happening. Embrace the process. Know that you have control over what you choose and you have the power to commit to your decision. For this, there's a tool called the Decision and Balance Technique. That's just a complex name for something that everyone knows, which is listing the pros and the cons. But writing down the positive and negative aspects of different options and course of action will help you gain clarity. You need to respect the first steps in order for the decisional balance system to work. In conclusion, understanding the challenges of decision making is the first step. By recognizing the limitations of our brain and adapting our decision making processes, we can find effective solutions that respect the system. Remember that it's all about limiting choices to what truly matters. Maybe you just need more practice. With time, you'll find how to get better at making them. Making choices is hard for everyone, so might as well try to make the process easier and less stressful. In the end, you'll never know which is the best options to choose. If there is only one, if an option was significantly better than the other, there will be no choice. You'd take the best offer. The importance resides in the fact that you are choosing for yourself, and you just may be one choice away to alter the course of your life.